Hi all, my name is Anna, and today I will guide you through the PXMSOFT Equal Pay, which is for pay transparency solution developed for PXMSOFT. I will quickly go through all of the pages, starting with the dashboard page. The dashboard page, as you can see, consists of different cards with charts which show data for the equal transparency. The first one that shows mean and median pay gap. All of the charts here that you can see are interactive, meaning you can hover over them in order to see the exact data. Moreover, to make it even more interactive, we have implemented such that each card can have additional options to change in between. So for example, this card, you can choose in between different years, that then it will fetch the different data for that year. But we also support, for example, checkbox in case you don't want to include the variable pay in this one. Now going to next cards, we also have just two generic ones, which stand for gender pay gap and variable pay gap with the percent that it is currently on. Next one, we have card with mean and median, but this time it is about the variable pay. Again, the same concept as on the first card. Then we come to the next one, which is mean pay gap across divisions. Here you actually have an option to choose in between different countries, as such. How it works right now is that if the color is blue, then it means that the pay gap means that it's men who earn more, and if it's pink, then it means it's women who earn more. And then you can see the exact values by hovering over different divisions and also by looking at the percent value here. The next chart shows the variable pay across genders, and here we focus on the number or the ratio of employees who receive the variable pay. So as you can see here, there is out of all employees that receive variable pay, almost 15% is women and the rest is men. We also have an additional option here, which is to show all employees. Then we can also see it across all of the company, so also including people who don't receive the variable pay at all. And then again, you can see the same. And the last one is gender distribution across pay grades. As you can see here, each of the columns states for the pay grade, and right now we see it in a metric which is called percent. But if wished, then you can also change it to number, and then it will just show the exact same data, but this time it will show it as a number of employees per each of the pay grade instead of percent. There's also a possibility to export it as PDF, which is here in the corner if needed. This is the first screen, which is called dashboard, which is also the welcome screen. And now we'll move to the next one, which is called requests. The request page can be divided into two sections, the left and the right one, where the left one shows all of the requests that have been created and are currently assigned to the user that's logged in. And then on the right, we can see all the information regarding the request that we are currently interested in. To maybe cover the left screen a little bit more, we can see that we have a filter bar with the creation date and user ID, and of course we can adapt more filters to that. Each of the requests can have one of the following stages, which is open, in review, or closed, but right now we're going to focus on the open one. If the request is clicked on, meaning you want to see it on your right, then you have to click on the see request, and that's also what will make it yellow. On this page or on this card, you can also see what exactly is the message that has been sent with the request. Right now we have a title and an example content of that request. Then we can focus on the next page. The next page covers all of the request information and also provides you with needed features for you to actually respond to that request. We're going to start with the header, where we have the ID, and we also have the number of requests. This number stands for how many requests have that person already created. That's because from what we have talked with customers, it is that a user can only request information about their position, for example, every half a year. So for that reason, we should be able to count how many times they did it, for example, per half a year or in a year. Underneath that, we can see all of the information from the user that has created the request. However, it can be that the request is created on behalf of someone else. For example, a manager wants to fetch some information for its employee. In that case, there's an option to fetch data for a different user, where you can choose one from a list, and then it will fetch the data for that user. Moreover, you can also navigate to one, or you can also reassign or deny the request if you don't think that it's belonging to you and it's not your own responsibility. In order to make it more spacious, we can just hide the header. That's what I just did now, and now I will cover the sections that are available in here. First section is basically just a welcome section, so in case you want to add something additional that is not so much about what the request is about, then you are welcome to write it here, and that will be put as the first part of the message. All of the sections here have a little include box, meaning that if you uncheck it, it will just basically hide it for you, and it will also hide it as a message for the user. This part of the first section, we have something called compile information, and then we have 3 subsections in that one, which is individual pay, average pay, and gender distribution. All of the data here is going to be fetched for the user that we have currently fetched the data for, that then can also be used to write a message with. Each of the sections have a pre-generated message and also a table with all of the data of the staff that we can find here. In this section, you can actually write and change as much as you want, but this automated message here and also the table is to make it easier for you to write the message to the user. From here, you can actually uncheck the information that maybe you don't want to include a message to the user. For example, let's say that the median all is not important. No, just maybe not. Then you can just uncheck it and then it will hide the information for the user. And the same will also happen for the average pay and gender distribution, as you can see. Yes, in the average pay we also have, and also in the gender distribution, we also have the possibility to add a chart. We have a list of predefined charts that they can add per each of the sections, and then we're going to reuse the data that we can also see for that section. For example, in that case, that will be the average all, average man, average woman, and so on. And we can choose one, for example, here, and then we can say mean salary for women and for men with the number. We also have the possibility to change the color of the table as we want. And right now what we support is that you can choose one color and it will try to choose the opposite one. Then we can click Add Chart. And as you can see, the chart is available in here. Similar happens with gender distribution, just with different charts to choose from because we have different data available. Yes, once you start to feel satisfied with the request, you can preview the message that is about to be sent to the user by clicking on this button. And then once you are ready, you can just send the request. This was the request page. Now we're going to move on to the next one, which is the map page. The map page, you can say that it consists of 2 different views, which is a map view and a data view. The map view supports a list that you can choose from, a legend, which is a heat map, where the 5% mean gap is a threshold value, meaning that if it's below, then it's going to be more green, but if it starts to become yellow or red, then it means that it's above the 5%. This map is interactive, meaning you can move it, as well as you can hover over the countries. If a country is gray, then it means that it's not applicable in that company because we only focus on the companies where we actually have the divisions. When you open the map page, you're going to see the all countries data along with some charts. But when you click on a country, for example, let's say I click on that one, then it's going to show the data for that country that I have pressed on. With 2 charts, which is variable pay across gender, gender distribution across pay bands, and mean pay gap across different groups. From here, basically it works the same in order to keep the UI consistent, but it's just a different view in order to make it easier for people who maybe don't like to use the map view as much. And here we have the countries that require attention, meaning that their pay gap is equal or higher than 5%. These cards again have a border color here, which is based on the heat map that we have also seen in the map view, and you can hover over them and then also click on them in order to fetch information. We also have a country list here with all of the countries, so not only the ones that require attention. For example, as you can see, Norway is here but is not above. Moreover, despite of choosing different views, we can also choose a different metric. Right now we support the mean gap or the median gap, and when you choose the median, then data will update itself on both sides. Now we are going to move on to the next screen, which is employees. In the employees page on the left, we have a list of all the employees and also with some filters in order to find the employee you are looking for, and then by pressing on it from the list, it's going to bind it to the screen on the right. From here we can see all of the important general information as well as job information. That is actually the same data that you also see when you create a request for a user. Moreover, in this section we can see two charts. One of them is salary development, which has columns for each of the past years, where each of them stands for the mean salary for that position. And then we also have a line graph on top of that, which is the employee's salary in the following year. We have one more chart which is called salary range, which shows the expected and the actual one. What it means is that the expected stands for what is the pay range set for that position that the user is currently in. We also have a little dot, which stands for the user's salary. The actual, it works very similar, it just means it's the pay range that actually happens for that user. So what is the actual minimum and maximum for the position that the user is in? Then again we have a dot, which is at the exact same place, and we have a median salary for that position. Yes, this is the employee list, and now I'm going to cover the last one, which is the position page. In order to be consistent with the other pages, this one looks very similar to the map page, where you have the org view and the table view, and what again you can choose a different metric. In the org view, we have an org chart that then we can expand in order to see what is underneath the category, which is here company. Then, for example, we have division and business units, and then it goes further. Each of them have a name, as well as a mean pay gap for that position and a category. From here we can also click on one, and then it's going to bring us to the operations, because that's what I have clicked to get the information of, with metric information and general information, as well as charts that are there for that division. We also have a table view, from which we have 4 select options, which are going to filter on each other as you go further and further. So as we have the company, we're going to choose this one. That's also the only one that we have. Then in divisions, we have 4 different ones to choose from. Let's say I want to go with the technology one. Then it's going to filter all of the ones that are not lying under the technology one. And then we can see from here there's a division, but we also see the business unit, which is software and data, and then departments that are under it. Then, of course, we can see 2 business units, which is software as data, as mentioned. Then if I click on software, that's going to filter it further and further. And then as we want to change it, then we can just click on a different division again. As you can see here, in case the list item requires some attention, then it becomes yellow in color, meaning that the pay gap is 5% or more. Of course, from this table you can also navigate to the specific departments or your business units and so on, and it's going to show the data for the one that you have clicked on. Yes, that was the solution. I hope that it covers everything and that it was easy to follow. In case of any questions, you can either reach out to me or to Jakob. Thank you for listening.